Good morning. My name is Sandy Moore, your worship leader for this morning's service. And this is Common Ground, our celebration of worship for people of many paths who gather to share in the responsible search for meaning and truth. Many enjoy searching for meaning and truth in our lobby. Yeah. This is a warm and open community where all who come with open minds and kind hearts are welcome, regardless of ability, age, race, gender identity, or sexual orientation. We hope that all who join us today find this a safe place to worship. Now, please greet the people next to you. You'll have time to greet everyone else during our coffee and conversation after the service. When the bell sounds, please remain standing and join us in a moment of silence, followed by our gathering song. Please pause for a moment of silence. Now, as you're willing and able, please join the Come As You Are choir in our opening song, Circle Round for Freedom.
Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us in prison, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for restore. For the children of our children,
This is the fire of our faith. As David Pollard lights our chalice flame, let us say these words together. The hours of day and night are in balance. In honor of earth-centered traditions that celebrate this time of year, we observe that the flaming chalice holds the elements of the four directions: earth, air, fire, and water. The lamp oil for earth, the air that feeds the flame, the fire we light, and the chalice itself, the cup, the symbol of water. We light our chalice and reflect on the balance we seek in our lives, the balance we seek in our hearts, the balance we seek in our world. I invite you to join me in a renewal of our sacred promises. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other. Please be seated. As you're seated, move toward the walls to make it easier for folks still arriving to find their seats. Also know you may enjoy the service remotely upstairs in the loft on the large screen TV. Today in religious education, the children will explore the magic of being set free from expectations and the practice of suspending expectations. Next Sunday, the children will explore the practice of opening to ongoing revelation. And today, the youth will explore the magic of being set free from expectations, the same topic that the younger children will be exploring, but with different activities. Next week, the youth will join us for our 5th Sunday potluck. At this time, children are invited to take part in religious education. Let us send them out with these words. We pass this flame of religious freedom from generation to generation. Today's call to worship is by Rick Hamuris. Let's say these words together. We are a circle within a circle, with no beginning and never ending. Now, please stand as you're willing and able and join us in our worship song, One More Circle Around the Sun by Peter Mayer. We're familiar with two of the other songs Peter Mayer has written, Holy Now and Blue Boat Home. Now let's enjoy singing together his song for the autumn equinox, One More Circle Around the Sun.
Sadness like a stone. We have yearned. We have sometimes felt so utterly alone. While we turn, we've been stricken by the wonder of it all. Stricken down. We have sometimes felt so faint we want to fall. Overcome, all in all. Say this year in flight together has been fun. What say we make one more circle around the sun? circle around the sun. Say this year and fight together. Let's play a good, good one. What say we make one more circle? One more circle. One more circle around the sun.
Please be seated. Yadni Helu will be speaking us today via video as we watch the sermon she gave last June 22nd in Spokane, Washington at the UU General Assembly. She's a first-generation Ethiopian American who is grateful to call Tulsa her home base. Over the summer, Yadni became the third full-time minister at All Souls Unitarian Church in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, David will tell us more about the sermon we're about to watch and our opportunity to walk the labyrinth afterwards.
Thanks. At the Spokane General Assembly, and not the one back in June, the one we had there 24 years ago this summer. The UUA, after a 4 or 5 year process, adopted a sixth source at that General Assembly to the principles and purposes of the UUA, and that source reads as this: spiritual teachings of earth-centered traditions which celebrate the sacred circle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. And for those of you who are wondering what that means, the one word they did not include in there because, well, we didn't want to ruffle feathers, is paganism. Because that's where all this stuff comes from. One could also argue that a good chunk of the other stuff that we do comes from there, but that's a whole different kettle of fish. And I don't even know if Yadni was alive when this happened, but it was pretty controversial. It took 2/3 vote to pass, and out of 1,100 delegates there, it made it by 8 votes. So we fast forward 24 years, and every morning at General Assembly, not just the big special Sunday service they do on Sunday, but every morning they have a worship service. And on Saturday morning at General Assembly this year, without any fanfare at all, they did an earth-centered worship service. And everybody took it for granted. So in a way of thinking, it's like when you're no longer being thought on these things, you've won. You really are part of the family now when you're ignored. Ariadne is at Tulsa All Souls, so I mean, we're wowed with her. She's someone we could theoretically invite to come speak here sometime through the miracle of Southwest Airlines. And she's going to be ordained as a UU minister next month at All Souls. So please listen to her and what she has to say. And then when we get to the end of it, the choir, she and the choir start up with a chant. We are a circle within a circle. And let's use that as a recessional to go out, and we can join in them if you want, if you know the words, because they are pretty simple, and just go out and do our labyrinth thing then. Thank you.
We are a circle, within a circle with no beginning and never ending. Good morning, beloveds. Sweet. I often use this salutation, beloved, and I love what it recognizes and invites forth in myself and for the person before me. And yet, beginning to name being loved was a near painful realization for me to embody at first. And it was the jumpstart to my journey of vulnerability as a tool for liberation. Let me unpack that. When I was a teenager, I babysat a lot. And I love hanging out with children. It's a hoot and a half. I love spending time with children of various abilities and ages and personalities, and I learned a lot about human behavior, particularly mine. I learned that if you want to witness magic, mystery, or whatever you name it, watch 15 3-year-olds with only 1 or 2 adults. The number of head-on collisions, toy-to-face impacts, and wipeouts that take out new teeth that don't happen, saved by happenstance or incredible timing, it's wild and it's serendipity on high speed. For those exhausting and amazing shifts, I learned there is something that holds us in relationship. We affect each other and even when not made physical, we are connected to one another, woven into a tapestry of something. Another lesson I remember is one evening I was hanging out with a kiddo, and after a tumultuous invitation to clean up his room, I realized that cleaning the room wasn't the problem. It was the frustration at being invited to what to him felt like an outsider's burden. The standard of cleanliness that I was imposing. So I called time out, and I led him through my lived practice of returning to awareness and addressing my needs so I may prepare for responsibility. We went to the kitchen and had a snack. And we talked about his day, where he's coming from, what happened at school, what his grandma recently told him. And we played, and eventually we got back to his room, and he cleaned up without the anger expressed earlier because he had tended to his own heart. And we had moved through the sticky instead of away. Later, while tucking in my pal that night, that sweet 7-year-old looked me in the eyes and said, "Thanks for being my friend." And then we proceeded to have a 30-minute conversation about death and letting go that he instigated. From that evening, I noted when we stay close, when we move with empathy and loving boundaries, when we seek to understand hurt in ourselves, we can not only have fun again, we can cultivate the grounds for greater connections, vulnerability, and responsible community partnership. We can be our own friend. And one final observation. After hours logged in conversation with bewildered infants, agency-hungry 2-year-olds, frustrated 6-year-olds, and overwhelmed 11-year-olds, I found genuine concern is often at the source of an outlandish reaction. And for the journey to unpack and address tender fears and unspoken beliefs, harsh judgment would not benefit either of us. I also realize we're all still kids, especially adults, who I judged most harshly as a teen. The epiphany of the empathy we crave, the respect we need, the self-awareness we are responsible to, and the love we thrive on, no matter our age, followed me into my late teens. I was near the beginning of my mental health journey, and I came to nose with a terrifying, daunting, great implications attached realization. The way I think, the chemicals in my brain, the people and the culture I am around, what I listen to and believe, curates the mental state I am in. Society, poor theology, and my own bewilderment turned resentment, burdened my soul. It riddled my heart with pinprick holes where my sense of worth, personhood, and wholeness were. The kids I babysat and nannied, who I recognized as dope humans deserving of love and care, were also the greatest hopes I had for myself, to recognize I am whole and I am growing. Yes. We are lovable, full of potential, and ever shaping our world. Like the first line in the chant today, we are a circle, cycling and moving, whole and sweet. And the most naked I ever felt was when I dared remember I inherently matter. It was a tough cookie to face. And when I championed having a right to love and acceptance from my idea of God and myself, the vulnerability train doesn't stop there. I had help learning the judgmental climate my mind and heart were in, and I need help. I need a village in unlearning it and to start relearning greater truth and love. The audacity I just tested, like a swatch of color against my arm, needed to be replicated, sized up, and expanded. So basically, I needed to dunk myself in the bright and nerve-wracking shade of vulnerability with a courage primer. When I began the journey of self-awareness, responsibility, and compassion, I was surprised and relieved. Y'all, there's nourishment along the way. It comes from others also on the path, sharing personal experiences. It's the interpersonal of what Zen Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh teaches in eating meditation. When eating fruit, he invites you to imagine the people that prepared it, transported it, picked it, planted it. Imagine the sun, moon, and stars that shined over it, the breeze and animals that kept it company. And he continues on, and soon you take bites of anything with incredible gratitude. That truly the universe conspired for what is in your mouth, the nourishment inside, and countless lives are invested in your meal. My liberation depends on greeting myself each day and practicing to greet all y'all with such wonder. Knowing I come from a village of humans who come from a community of humans who come from more humans who come from a legacy and lineage of humans. We go on and reach far into our ancestry, lives lived long ago. Their journey lining up to create the conditions for my own. I come from a church and a school and a society, a system which works and is in larger and larger systems, expanding and collaborating out. We are circles, and we benefit by remembering we are within circles and connected to others still. In short, we are not void or separate from the systems we were shaped by, and we are not exempt from the task of shaping them back. Vulnerability is bursting our privileged bubble of separateness by inquiring and addressing our 6 or less degrees of separation to oppression of all kinds. Oppression in our home is linked across the globe. Ageism and ableism are knotted with heteronormativity, gender binaries, unchecked religiosity, and perfectionism. Did you know environmental and economic injustice is firmly linked to racism, classism, forced migration, and reckless theology? All isms are terribly woven into the fabrics of each of our lives, and it demands vulnerability, laced with courage, to admit this, explore this, and address this in ourselves and in community. It's one thing to peek at this ever-expanding web of connections we are bound in, and it's another to be in relationship with it. We aren't woke by simply acknowledging it briskly and moving along. We don't elicit justice or equity by staying unmuddied and unbruised on the sidelines, protected by the illusion of otherness and purity. We are revolutionaries when we dare to be proximate and cultivate healthy relationship. We midwife a transformed world when we are immersed in the sticky. We are shapers of change when our baseline is participation and collaboration in the massive work at hand, not distant commentary, distraction, or aversions. We are warriors of love when we get so good at loving our holy selves and one another in overflow. It transforms the geography of our relationships and systems. We are who we have been waiting for. when our courage overthrows the illusion of exceptionalism, and vulnerability cultivates the grounds of living in service to a vision for a community and world that is inclusive, diverse, and growing. We are powerful and divine, and we are called into courageous and vulnerable relationship with the people, systems, and institutions we are woven among, especially those we have covenanted with. Simply put, we are a circle within a circle. And I deeply appreciate the balance in this chant and other earth-centric traditions where the magic and expansion of who we are is presented with the equally important practice of humility and wonder. So a little personal, I am incredibly grateful that I came across a Unitarian Universalist community, All Souls in Tulsa, and joined 5 years ago. And I think it's pretty neat that I'm a minister now, and I'll get ordained in October. I have entered covenant with colleagues and congregates anew in the ever-growing and transforming circles we are. Unitarian Universalism is so many things that I love and I respect. But today I want to list the things we're not. We are not inventors of justice. We are not the origin points of love. We are not soul revolutionaries or by any means the only group of big-hearted, deeply convicted people committed to coming together and creating at the intersecting points of our physical lives and our highest transcendental theological aspirations. In short, we are not alone. So yes, I'm inviting us here, the annual gathering of Unitarian Universalists, to remember we're not the only ones doing this. And if that irks you, or is a bummer, or maybe an insult, then my beloved, forget not how rad and delicious each and every one of us are. We are not exceptional, but we are incredibly unique. We only happen like this, come together like this once in history. Each moment is a blessing. We are the juice that brings personality and uniqueness to the arc of history, more grand than our lifespans. We are circles, whole and divine, and if we are in relationship, close proximity with ourselves and others, we can appreciate and be transformed by one another. So instead, yes, let's. So instead, my statements of what we are not are freaking exciting, y'all. We didn't invent justice or the practice of seeking liberation. We aren't the only bank of histories and stories and programs striving to bend towards love. That means back home and here together, there are so many other circles, traditions, institutions, and people we have yet to get to know and be informed by and loved. That means we aren't the first or the last in the arena of vulnerability and courage, of society shaping and self-transformation. That means we have collaborators, partners, empathizers, friends, and a broader community network yet to tap into and flourish with. This means we can know how mightily vital we are and humbly cherish gratitude and awe for the movement much larger than ourselves we partake in. Gratitude and awe. Gratitude and awe are actually much more sustainable and sweet to a lifestyle, not a fad, a lifestyle of courage and vulnerability that say pride and elitism, which burn fast and bright, but leave you cold and chilled to the bone after the hype. Gratitude and awe put us in a posture to be open-hearted and to get in and stay in healthy relationship. Pride and elitism convince us to isolate our genius so we can thrive unpolluted. yet not realizing it will cut you off from the nutrients you need to survive. We are no island, no mythical hero. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. Please join us in that chant. We've unpacked each line from this understanding of the declaration and the commitment to vulnerability and courage. Lift your voice however you do. If you would like, imagine in your mind's eye a lotus flower, blooming and opening, and inside, another lotus flower. An endless chain of life and death, begetting life and death. Or imagine yourself, your lifespan, before you, hundreds of thousands of people and their lives. And after you, whether you procreate or not, hundreds and thousands of people. Not one of us comes into this world or leaves untouched by infinite lives. So let us begin. Please rise in body and spirit.
We are a circle within a circle, with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle, with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle, with no beginning.
Follow any voice you hear. There's no wrong way.
We are a circle. We are a circle with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle. We are a circle with no beginning and no beginning and never ending. We are a circle with no beginning, with no beginning and never circle. We are a circle with no beginning, with no beginning and no beginning, with no beginning and no beginning, with no beginning and never circle. Within a circle, we are a circle. Within a circle, we are a circle. Within a circle, we are a circle. Within a circle.
She looks like 20.
I know, but I've already completed ministerial college.
Yeah.
You know, that should very, very good speaker.
Okay, we are already walking.
Yeah. Could you start that music on that side? That'll loop well for the people in here. I'm missing 2 pages of the script, so I'll do the next part from memory. As we have received, so we are asked to give. Please use the envelopes provided. Green envelopes are for donations to Pathways. Yellow envelopes are for donations to our outreach partner. Our outreach partner for July, August, and September is Mid-Cities Care Corps, working together to preserve the independence and well-being of our senior neighbors in Northeast Tarrant County. We will now receive the offering.
When you're down and troubled and you need a helping hand and nothing's going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call up my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running. Oh yeah, baby, to see you again.
Thank you for your generous gifts, kindly and freely given today, Sunday, and throughout the month to support Pathways and our outreach recipients. Your generosity is truly appreciated. We hope you have found common ground with you and your fellow travelers here today. Today we'd like to recognize the volunteers who serve as lobby monitor volunteers. They stay in the lobby during the service, they help direct latecomers, and they keep us all safe. So more volunteers are needed for this team. I don't have the complete list in front of me of all the people who have served as lobby volunteers so far. If you have done so in the past, would you raise your hand? So, thank you to all. Yeah. Okay. All right. And there's a sign-up sheet for this team in the foyer. Please consider doing this. Just giving up, sitting with us once. You get to listen to the whole service through the speaker system in the lobby. So, okay. Well, there was impressive turnout in Fort Worth at the City Hall for the Create Climate Justice demonstration at Fort Worth City Hall. Very margin calculated, this is about 10% of Pathways membership were there. So a big round of applause to everyone who participated. Okay. All right. As David extinguishes our chalice flame, let us say these words together. We have basked in the warmth and beauty of this flame in this community. As the chalice flame is extinguished, let us carry its glow within. Let us kindle new sparks within these walls and beyond. To all our first-time visitors, if you'd like to learn more about Pathways, stay around after worship and talk to us. We'd love to meet you. Be sure to share your contact information with us at our welcome table in the foyer. If you like, sign up on our website for our weekly e-newsletter to be informed of events coming up at Pathways. There are meetings and events here at Pathways throughout the week. Here are just a few, along with other announcements. For our full lineup, see the Pathways Weekly or the events calendar on our website, pathwaysuu.org. Also, take home the order of service sheet on your chairs because it has the dates of upcoming events on the announcement slides. North Texas Giving Day was this past Thursday. Stephen Braun will come up to tell us how Pathways fared in this. the first giving day that we've participated in. Stephen?
Thanks to all who contributed. There were 27 donations. We blew past our first year donation goal. We raised $4,569 in this effort, and I appreciate all the help of the development committee who helped us do this for the first time, but not the last time. We'll do it again next year.
Next Sunday after the service, we'll have our fifth Sunday potluck. Join us. It takes lots of pairs of hands and lots of work, but it's always good camaraderie and a great meal. The regular adult discussion groups will not meet next Sunday. September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Did you know that 2/3 of all gun-related deaths are suicide? This afternoon here at Pathways, the group Moms Demand Action will host Dr. Brian Dixon speaking about suicide prevention. There will also be a short presentation about Moms Demand Action's Be Smart, Safe Gun Storage Program. Nonviolent communication fall practice sessions and classes will begin in October. Contact Beth Wasson if you're interested in participating. After we break for coffee and conversation, we continue with several adult discussion groups. In the sanctuary, we'll watch and discuss a TED Talk called This Could Be Why You're Depressed and Anxious. In a moving talk, journalist Johan Hari shares fresh insights on the causes of depression and anxiety from experts around the world, as well as some exciting emerging solutions. If you're depressed or anxious, you're not weak and you're not crazy. You're a human being with unmet needs, Hari says. On My Path, we'll meet upstairs in the loft. This is a group for adults to celebrate and deepen their individual spiritual journey. It's open to all seekers from any path and is a safe place to speak your truth in a circle of trust. The book study group discussing Reading the Bible for the First Time by Marcus Borg, led by Stephen Braun, will meet in Meeting Room 2. Reminder to parents, please pick up your children from the nursery and RE immediately after Common Ground so that all ages can share in the fellowship and food. The nursery will reopen at 11:30 for adult discussion groups. Now, please stand as you're willing and able. Join the choir in singing our closing hymn, I Will Stand, by Emma's Revolution. This duo is named after the statement attributed to Emma Goldman that if I can't dance, I don't want to be part of your revolution.
In the warmth of your presence, I am safe at home. I will stand, I will stand. In the deepest conflict, I am not alone. I will stand, I will stand, I will stand, I will stand with his spark in my hand. I will stand in the circle with the circle in me. I will stand, I will stand. I will stand in myself when I'm not feeling strong. I will stand, I will stand. I will tear down the walls and sing a freedom song. I will stand, I will stand. I will stand, I will stand with his spark in my hand. I will stand in the circle with the circle in me. I will stand, I will stand. gather the courage I have found in me. I will stand, I will stand. I will honor the vision of who I will be. I will stand, I will stand. I will stand, I will stand with this spark in my hand. I will stand in the circle with the circle in me. I will stand, I will stand. I will stand, I will stand with this spark in my hand. I will stand in the circle with the circle in me. I will stand, I will stand, I will stand, I will stand.
Our benediction today is by Ben Soul. Hold fast to summer. Enjoy with heightened appreciation these still warm September days. Create more memories, take more pictures. Enjoy a bit of denial. Suck all the summer sweetness out of your sun-warmed garden tomatoes. Smile at someone. Squeeze a hand. Put up some jam or pickles. We store these things the uncertain seasons, and our summer companions will be our winter support and sustenance. In celebration of the changing seasons, bless